Yeah, didn't hit the button. Anyway, yeah, this is just the video before the video because I just uploaded a video and YouTube turned a 10-minute video into a 13-second video for no fucking good reason. So I'm gonna edit this because I have to apparently. I mean, apparently I can't upload from a flip camcorder. The most popular camcorder is in America's sales, which is just bullshit. Um, I mean, it's always some kind of crap. I mean, I couldn't sign into my account for the last whatever 10 hours or something. Any account. Uh, YouTube just sucks. Google fucking sucks. It's Google. Fucking Google. God damn bastards. Anyway, it's very irritating. I really just wanted to upload a fucking video. Didn't want to have to edit it. Didn't want nothing. Just want to fucking upload a video. And, they upload the whole video. It took, a long time. 20 minutes or whatever. And, yeah, they processed 13 seconds. Stupid bastards. We'll see what happens. Fuck. Alright, just figured I'd do a video response. Just watched a video by the Modern Mystic titled Bundles of Going On. It's a video from last week. Anyway, just bizarre. So I figure it's worth talking about just because, this is an intelligent guy. And this is just such wacky interpretation of determinism. I mean, just a, and he talks about like it's enlightenment. So, he starts the video by basically saying child molester, not child molester, doesn't matter. But then in the middle of the video, he talks about Adolf Hitler and the silliness going on and whatnot, as if it mattered whether there was a Hitler or not. I mean, he kind of implied that it somehow mattered whether people were silly and were Sikh heiling all over the place, like that somehow matters. So Sikh, he said, the Heil Hitlering is somehow a problem, but child molesting isn't a problem. I mean, it's just bullshit. So basically, he's just saying that the universe is just universing. Yeah, that we're all part of the universe. It's just mattering. And it's caught up in these swirls, these eddies, these, as I've called it, eddies. We have no explicit control because there's no we. Yes, this is valid philosophical talk to describe the circumstance that we don't make ourselves. We are made by the influences of the world. The sun made you. The sun moves you. Energy moves you. It has to come into you, and it comes into you through sound waves and video and language now. You have all these very subtle influences now, and ideas control you, and themes and principles and lessons learned, and, that's the way we function. We are a product of our environment entirely, both how we're genetically composed, and then what happens to us once we're here. That's a truth. I don't, that completely, yes, it's a deterministic universe. There's no spontaneous, there's no magic. You have to logically understand something to know it's the wrong thing to do. You just don't know it for the sake of knowing it. And if you do know it in some impulsive way, you're going to do so because of some conditioning, some experience, some subtle influences that you're not giving a name, that you can't name, that you can't identify. But they're there. Well, anyway, but this idea that you can't use this thing, this brain, that does evolve logically, both over long periods of time and even in our own lifetimes. We become wiser as we get older. We're a logical machine. It will function that way. No denying it. And we will consciously be aware of facts and circumstances. And he's arguing that somehow there's something in this determinism that would somehow mean that this cat that's just sitting here, I could have pet it or I could have squished its head, and those two events would be the same thing. They'd be of no consequence, no discernible from some enlightened perspective, as Nick would use that word. The enlightened individual couldn't tell the difference effectively, between suffering and pleasure. And that's just insane. I mean, there's nothing logical about it. There's nothing evidential. There's no evidence of that. Determinism doesn't dictate that there can't be phenomenon in our universe that has meaning. That's more than just some sort of meaningless perception. It just so and he almost reduces life as if there's nothing else but one kind of perception, even though he'll say he's different personalities in different circumstances. The real thing you can recognize is that you are different mechanisms. You're a feeling individual and you're a thinking or perceiving individual. And they're not entirely glued together. They're attached, but they're not the same thing. And see, where else can we go with this? But it just seems it's bizarre to me not to concede that part of the universing is discerning and logically perceiving and recognizing things and noticing them. That's what our brain does. And one of the things that just seems obvious to notice is the difference between a good feeling and a bad feeling. You know, if you're going to cough up something, you can cough it up down there, please. Yeah, so I don't even know how that can be. It's scary that people can think it's some sort of higher or enlightened or that has something to do with determinism and being philosophically clinical to erase the distinction between suffering and pleasure. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense. I can't find any way to logically erase that distinction. They're recognizably, substantively different things, and they can be labeled good and bad. They can be labeled, why not do this thing than that thing, because that thing is harmful. It causes this unpleasant sensation, this negative thing that isn't just some sort of ego perception. You just don't, as an ego, as a self-possessed, self-knowledgeable individual, know what pain is. You know it whether you think you're a somebody or an I or anything else or not. You're still going to know what that is. And so that it just doesn't make any... How does he make sense out of that? How does he create that implication from determinism, from the fact that the material universe is universing through us, that we're just part of the mechanism, and that it evolves through us, that this eddy changes shape and structure based on this condition of logic, discerning the truth through all of us, and evolving understanding, and how that somehow leads to the conclusion that sentience doesn't matter, that doesn't have any distinguishable meaning. Whatever. It's just plain crazy, ludicrous, preposterous, nonsense. So yeah. Anyway, it's just scary that somebody can have, can make a tree that seems really. It's like they get 99% of it right, and they do. It's like you work on a car or something. You get the engine right, you get the most complex part of the vehicle, and then you can't figure out how to put tires on the car. Somehow your brain doesn't allow you to put a tire on the damn car. I mean, how can you miss the obvious that suffering matters? I mean, how can that escape your perceptual recognition? I mean, you gotta be completely fucking insane. And that's spooky that you can, like I said, that you can recognize that you're not a you, that you don't have a personal identity separate from the world that made you, the time and matter, that energy that made you, And yet, you can't figure out that there can be phenomenon created by this deterministic mechanism that has meaning, and that part of the rational, logical evolution of that energy is recognizing the obvious. And one of the obvious truths is that suffering fucking matters, and you want to fucking reduce it or eliminate it. I mean, it's just so fucking obvious. So I've said that. Anyway, bizarre. That's all I got to say. Fucking bizarre. But, you know, it's a guy who, you know, who thinks capitalism works. I mean, really, well, he thinks owners work. Yeah, they do exactly the opposite. They don't fucking work. It's funny. Anyway, until next time. 10 minutes. Yeah, good. I thought I was longer than that, so good.